Well, it's that time of the year. As you guys know, if you haven't seen our videos already, for those of you that are new, we feed birds out here. We have bird feeders, multiple spread out all over the yard and stuff. My wife wants some birdhouses. We have a lot of wrens and stuff like that. They normally will come in here and build nests in my soffit, but I've closed that all off for the winter because our cat stays in here, and I put in a heater for her. So we're going to build a couple of bird boxes out of here. First thing I'm going to do, this is some old door trim and wall trim. I need to go through here, check all the boards, make sure there's no nails and everything. And then I'm going to break out the planer and run these through the planer and clean them up. And then we'll go from there. All right, now that I've all pulled all the nails and checked the boards, make sure we had no nails in them. Got out our old rigid surface planer. We're going to run our boards through here and clean them up and get rid of the stain and everything on here because she wants to paint them. And all right, now that we've taken our boards and planed them down, cleaned with the face on each side, all four of them are the same exact thickness and they're not cupped anymore. Reason I didn't video that, I didn't want to bore you guys with all that. So let me clean this mess up, put this away and get the table saw out, and we're just going to run those through and just clean up the outer edges of them. I got that all cleaned up, got the table saw set up. What I'm wanting to do, we're building these for birds, so I don't want any stain or anything on them, and I want all these edges cleaned up. So we're gonna just run it through the table saw. I want to make this one width. This is going to be our front and back panel. This is going to be our roof panel. It's got the little beveled edge, and these are going to be our two sides and our bottom. So we're just going to run them through, get this stain, clean them up, get this old glue and stuff off of them, and then we'll start to map this out and start assembling. Okay, now that we've run those through the table saw, cleaned up the edges, these two are the same exact width. This is going to be our side. This is going to be our front and back. This is going to be our roof. This is going to be our bottom. So let's go ahead and get set up for that. We'll get the chop saw set up next, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with that. Alright, hopefully you guys can see this. I've mapped this out and figured out we can make 3 birdhouses, all this wood that we have, about 3.5. So what I did was I measured up 12 inches. Stepped down 2 inches. What we want to do is take and we found the center mark, which is our board's 4 1/4 wide, so we want 2 1/8. We're going to put our square, the very point of our square, right on that mark. And then we're going to roll this around to our center point. And that's going to put us right at about 45 degrees. So we need to keep this in mind because we're going to need this later. But we're going to go ahead and cut 6 boards at 12 inches long. All right, now that we have our 6 pieces cut at 12 inches, what we're going to do is, I like to always put a piece of tape on my saw so I have a mark. See if I can do this with one hand for you guys. We're going to slide our board over, set our miter saw on a 45 degree. That's what we figured out a little while ago, that we're on a 45 degree. And we're going to set our saw to where it comes down right on that center mark. Excuse the siren in the background. Well, I'm going to cut this and show you guys something else. Now, what we're going to do after we've made that cut, you can see it's a little off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mark here on the very end of the board. So I'm going to take that board and we're going to just roll it right over, and we're going to slide it to that mark. That way when we cut each individual piece, it works out exactly the same each time. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright, now that we got those all cut, just so you guys know, I shrunk these down to 10 inches. I got to looking at them, they're just too tall. It's like a bird motel. I don't think only one bird's going to be in there. So I went ahead and shrunk these down to 10 inches rather than 12 inches. But let's go ahead and work on our face and our back. Well, in order to get started on our next pieces, we need to measure. Sorry about the tape measure right in your face. From here to our end point here, which is 7 3/4. So we're going to cut 6 pieces at 7 3/4. Now, after we've cut our 6 pieces at 7 3/4, I figured out where the miter saw is going to cut right dead at the very edge of it and cut that on 45 degree. Now I couldn't film this because it's kind of close. Can't hold that, and I put a mark on my saw. That way I cut all other 5 pieces behind this one exactly the same. All right, now we're done with that. We lay our back and our front, lay our 2 sides down inside of here. We're going to measure and get what our height is, which is 3 7/8. We're going to cut 3 boards 3 7/8 of an inch. All right, now that we have all that cut, we're going to break out our drill. I have here a 2-inch hole saw. Went ahead and measured up 3 7/8, centered that up. Wanted to go ahead and leave a little bit of room down here, that way when they build their nest they don't have the hole blowing right in on their babies. So we're going to go ahead and drill these. I'm going to remind you that if you do this, you may want to put a board below your work table. You don't want to put a hole into it. As you can see, I have this board that I've used before. So we're going to go ahead and drill those, and I'll get back to you guys here in a minute. Just a little pointer, guys, so you don't have happen what just happened to me. Clamp your board down, because once you get almost through, it's going to... Anyway. Alright, now that we have our holes drilled, we're going to take our router, we're the 1/4 round. We're going to go ahead and clean up these holes. Alright, now that we have all of our pieces cut, with the exception of our roof pieces. We have not cut the roof pieces because honestly I didn't feel like trying to figure out the width and all that. I figured once we build the box, we'll go ahead and run those through the table saw and show you guys how to do that. But all we're going to do is take our face piece, turn our bevel down. We're going to nail our 2 sides on here, and then our base is going to go slide down in there like such, yeah, and then we'll nail the other side on there. Sorry I don't have my tripod, so I can't show you guys this stuff, but let me go ahead and nail this together, and then we'll figure out a roof. Alright, now that we got those all together, I went ahead and measured the width here, which was 5 1/4, and I cut the boards for our roof at 7 1/4. Now, being we're on a 45 degree, we can actually do our 1-inch overhang on each side. Come right up to the peak here. And when we come right up to the peak here, let me see if I can do this with one hand. When we bring our other board is going to meet right there and close off our top. We don't need to run them through a table saw or anything like that. So let me go ahead and nail these on, and I'll show you guys what we got. Alright, there we go. That's how our roof turns out on there. As you can see, it's pretty much sealed up. I'll go see if I can find some dowels and get us a little perch for them here on the front, and then we'll connect some wires or some type of rope or something to hang them with, and we have some nice new birdhouses. Alright, all I did here is pull down 1 inch and drill a 3/8 hole. I got some dowels here, so we got a little perch in front of our bird house. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drill halfway in, which is 1/2 inch, right straight down through the center here, and we're going to strap a rope probably about 8-10 inches high. That way we can hang these. Alright, so now that we've installed our dowels, so they have a little perch, what I did was I went ahead and went midway between the back wall or the side wall in here, drilled a hole down through on both sides. Had some old wire, I couldn't find any rope, so we got some wire. We did that on all 3, and there we go, guys. Now, could we buy these cheaper? Yeah. Would they last as long as these? No, because these are about 5/8 of an inch thick boards. I'm going to leave it up to my wife to paint these and hang them out there for the birds. But other than that, we took some old scrap wood, turned them into a couple of bird houses. What did it take? Probably about 3 hours. Hey, get bored, something to do. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll try to make another video here later on.